What is going to happen to Hong Kong? Serious. Please let me explain a bit with my poor English. Hope that you could know a bit more about the situation and how Hong Kongers think. Let's say the national security law. The CCP could do a lot of things to HK bypassing the local legislative council credits. Some info sources from the Stand News. The CCP could set up a new secret police branch in HK, of which the HK local government has no power to control or monitor them. The secret police could arrest or punish citizens opposed them. That means they could do what they want. Searching people's house without permission. Imagine if a person was living alone. Who would know if she was arrested secretly? Prohibit behaviors claimingly harmful to national security. And regularly report to the CCP. The HKSAR will definitely do more about nationally security education. The teachers' textbooks or lessons may have to examine by the government before. In the past year, there were already teachers being fired, punished just because they had opinions on police brutality. Or about the government. People have no right to express our opinions. We are worried about our next generation will be brainwashed. Our students have a subject general studies. Students have to learn about history, economic, news and so on. Trained to have critical thinking. But now they said this is not good. They want to control what we think. To see what they want us to see. To learn what they want us to know. I don't know how will Hong Kongers become after 10 or 20 years. Hong Kong may become another city which totally different from now. We are scared. For me, I want consider to have baby. I just couldn't imagine how they would grow up. This make me relates to the book 1984 by George Orwell. I know I am a bit too pessimistic. Hope this long wordings won't scared you away. There are still other more rules about the national security law I haven't typed out. Hong Kong person here. People who can afford immigration will emigrate to other countries. Those who cannot will resist for as long as possible. Overall the odds are stacked against us. Edit. Fixed the grammar. Hong Kong people here already plan to go back to the UK in the summer. I cannot risk my life in HK with my partner. I will start a new life in August. Hopefully a good one in the UK. It's sad to say. But China will implement standard imperial policy. They will flood Hong Kong with mainland Chinese who are loyal to the CCP. They will make the environment extremely hostile for native Hong Kong population and those who hold Western ideals of democracy and freedom. They will either outright send them to re-education camps or make it extremely difficult for them to find work or access basic services like healthcare. Essentially, Hong Kong people will become second-class citizens. The social credit system will be the CCP's tool. Those with the fund to emigrate will do so. Those without the funds will be forced to move to mainland China where they will be beaten into submission by peer pressure from their co-workers and neighbors. The West won't care because money talks. Doing business with China is more important than intervening to save Hong Kong. Hong Konger here. The news about the security law has been circulating around Reddit for a few days. As bad as the situation seems. I've been trying to tell people. There is hope. Whether Hong Kong can survive this depends on the international world. Help raise awareness and your government will have to do something about it. Boycott China goods so the businesses will have to move to elsewhere. Every bit will matter even if it's just simply keeping an eye on the situation. Edit. For those who say we ain't got any hope. There's news today that UK will accept BNO holders to live in UK. No one will stand up for them. They won't fight to win. So they'll live on their knees or die. That's just how we've been rolling for 50 millennia. This inevitability is why so many Hong Kong families sent their children out of Hong Kong ahead of the original changeover. It was never going to be any different. And some people got a quarter century more than they feared they were going to. I've been wondering the same thing. I don't know what to do besides continue the conversation so the world won't forget they are still fighting and it's getting worse. People are protesting right now when I'm commenting. People will keep fighting. I honestly think they'll be silenced and nobody will do a thing about it. Africa and Europe get a lot of their trade wealth from China. So they won't stand up for Hong Kong because of their bank amounts. And America is too busy infighting between the two political parties to do anything constructive. Much less take on a nuclear world power alone. Hong Kong will have no border with mainland China. The cities of Hong Kong and Shenzhen will become one megacity. This scenario is assuming that Hong Kong has lost its special status and had become part of the mainland for years. Outside of Reddit, nobody seems to really care much about Hong Kong. I hate the Chinese government, but I hate to say that the world is too scared of them to do anything to help Hong Kong. If anything happens, it's up to the little people like us. The Chinese will slowly educate the next generation to be less rebellious. The rebellious people of this generation will be arrested. That's their plan. Anyways. Foreigner who lived in HK until very recently. Hong Kong is going down. I firmly believe this is the end of HK as we know it. China will pass laws, occupy the city, and strip all freedoms away. The rest of the world will protest and condemn but won't do jack because China is too valuable of a trading and production partner. HK will cease to exist and the rest of the world will keep on going as if nothing changed. One country. Two system will become one country. One system. The CCP will be free to impose any law they like in Hong Kong and every protesters will be charged for treasons or whatever they like. The social movement has no chance of succeeding as long as China maintains the strategic advantage in suppression of its movement. Right now the people of Hong Kong hold a nationalist vigor that motivates them to act radically in violence against the puppet government, but over time the costs of their actions will weigh heavily upon them. Eventually the riots will end and the protesters will disperse. The people will continue to live under the autocracy in Beijing in relative comfort. They will maintain that nationalist vigor internally but will be unable to truly achieve that goal as long as China maintains its strategic advantage economically and militarily. The main two hopes for Hong Kong to achieve its goal is to have international backlash and threats be strong enough to motivate Beijing to allow Hong Kong act independently. However, with the recent realist actions by large players in the international community, the United Kingdom and the US to be specific, actions by the international community against China may be more benign as countries become less motivated to join united directives in international institutions, and are instead focusing on domestic policy instead of foreign policy. The second hope is a hypothetical situation of political instability in China and a loss of legitimacy in the Chinese regime, which would weaken the Chinese government's ability to enforce policy in Hong Kong, thus motivating the previously suppressed separatists to rise in revolt once again. In conclusion, the situation in Hong Kong is overall a seeming defeat for the Hong Kong separatists and a success for the Xi Jinping administration. Mainland Chinese here. I'm risking a lot, but I want to say this. I stand with Hong Kong. If you guys succeeded, it will be a good example and the model for liberating China. We Chinese also want freedom. And our voices are unheard. Yes. It will be super difficult. But please. We will end this. End the reign of CCP. Hong Kong and China deserve better. Edit. I will probably soon delete this. But I just want more HKERS to know that there are Chinese people who are on your side. And yes. Most of us are silenced. Former HKER. People are gonna leave. Either that or things in HK will maybe just stay the same for quite some time. Won't be expecting an ending anytime soon. This is a fight between two evils. I mean, I dunno. Been a while since I've actually lived in HK. Last time was in December when I was visiting my family. HK is a messy place. And I'm bittersweet at the fact that my family would yeet me all the way to New Zealand so I can be happy while they're stuck in that pit of a place. Not to mention financial problems. They told me not to worry about them, but as a high schooler, I just can't stop worrying. Hong Konger will do whatever we could. For our freedom and rights. We need your support. We need global attention. Don't let our voce suppressed by CCP. Beijing won't let it carry on much longer as they also have international pressure from the Rona getting out. I would put money on the following. 1. For health and safety. Foreigners, especially Westerners, will be required to leave. 2. Martial law declared. 3. Media blackout. 4. Cellular comms shut down. 5. People will start to disappear. 6. 5 to 6 weeks later. HK will reopen as if nothing happened. Minus a few thousand people. We know the CCP has a few ideas how to change Hong Kong for the better education. The CCP has already worked on it. The top universities' headmasters are more or less forced, are pro-Beijing. Politics correctness above law. We are already seeing the blunt unfair treatment of citizens with different political opinion. For example, the pro-Beijing crowd can gather for some 20 people next to police without a care, violating the social crowd control ban, while pro-democracy political party holding a booth to distribute hygiene products are targeted and arrested. Swear loyalty as government officials means only pro-Beijing politicians can rise to important roles. This includes less politically involved public servant like firefighters. White terror on all media and pro-democracy politicians who try to request foreign nations to help. Maybe even I am in trouble for writing this. But it might get even worse. We don't know where the line is drawn. Foreign press and pro-democracy press should be very concerned. Strong PR work to establish new truth. And a lot of emphasis on order and in accordance to law. I suspect the law department will be heavily censored as well, allowing more mainlanders to come over and form a new pro-Beijing stance. As a combination of all above, it will reshape Hong Kong into a different Hong Kong in the long run. What Hong Kongers are hoping, foreign countries to impose sanction to Hong Kong pro-Beijing politicians and CCP. Cancel any special trade status. Hong Kong gets aid. Pro-democracy movement if possible, maybe an exodus immigration policy. Part of above is to threaten CCP to stop messing with Hong Kong free society. But Hong Kong is pretty much going to fall emo. Unless we achieve some sort of independence to have more control over our politics, or the CCP realizing we are better off left alone. The spirit of Hong Kong, however, will remain with the HKERS, and no matter what and where. We will stand by the free world. And we hope you can all remember what we fought for. And what happened to us.